everyone, and welcome back to the Young and the Restless channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and hit like for more daily drama updates and spoilers. Your support truly means a lot and helps our channel grow every day. Now, let's jump straight into today's exciting update. The next 2 weeks on the Young and the Restless, spanning July 13th through July 24th, promise an emotional storm that will ripple across every corner of Genoa City. Old wounds refuse to heal, dangerous secrets threaten to surface, and powerful families find themselves standing at painful crossroads where every decision could change their future forever. Loyalties will be tested in ways no one expected, while love, betrayal, revenge, and forgiveness become tangled together in a series of dramatic twists that leave no one untouched. As familiar faces struggle to protect the people they care about, hidden agendas continue to unfold behind closed doors, creating an atmosphere where trust grows increasingly fragile. Every conversation carries weight, every confrontation threatens to explode, and every quiet moment feels like the calm before another emotional storm. By the time these 2 unforgettable weeks come to an end, several lives will be forever altered, proving once again that peace never lasts for long in Genoa City. As the week of July 13th through July 17th begins, Billy Abbott finds himself facing a decision that could have reshaped his future. The opportunity to stand beside Kyle Abbott in a united mission against Victor Newman is placed directly in front of him, tempting him with the promise of revenge against the man who has caused so much pain. Yet despite every reason to embrace that fight, Billy ultimately chooses a different path. The responsibility weighing on his heart prove stronger than his thirst for retaliation, as he realizes that protecting the family he is building with Sally Spectra matters far more than chasing old grudges. It is not an easy choice because Victor has been a constant source of conflict, but Billy understands that some victories are earned by walking away rather than striking back. His decision reflects a man desperately trying to become someone stronger than his past, even if that means sacrificing the satisfaction of revenge. Meanwhile, Sally Spectra refuses to remain silent as trouble begins brewing around Audra Charles. Suspicion quickly consumes her thoughts, leading her to believe that Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson are deliberately working behind the scenes to destroy everything she has worked so hard to build. Fueled by frustration and determination, Sally unleashes fierce accusations, convinced that they are targeting her company for their own gain. The emotional intensity of her confrontation reveals just how deeply she values the business she has poured herself into, and every word she speaks carries the sting of someone who refuses to lose another dream. However, the truth is far more complicated than Sally realizes. Behind the scenes, it is actually Victor Newman who has set his sights on Audra Charles, hoping to dismantle Sally's business as part of his larger plan to reclaim Newman Media. While Victor pushes relentlessly toward his goal, Adam quietly wrestles with a different strategy of his own, believing there may be a better way to handle the situation. Unfortunately, negotiating with Victor is never simple, and Adam soon discovers that reasoning with the Newman patriarch is every bit as challenging as he feared. Elsewhere, the emotional aftermath of recent trauma finally begins to settle over the Abbott family as Diane Jenkins Abbott returns home to the Abbott mansion. Walking through the familiar halls, she is overwhelmed by everything she has endured, and the weight of those terrifying memories crashes down all at once. Relief washes over her in powerful waves, leaving her unable to hold back her emotions any longer. Tears become unavoidable as she realizes she has survived an ordeal that could have ended much differently, and the safety of home offers a comfort she desperately needed. Standing beside her is Tracy Abbott, whose gentle compassion becomes exactly what Diane requires in this fragile moment. Rather than encouraging Diane to hide her pain, Tracy lovingly reminds her that healing begins by allowing herself to feel every emotion. With patience, warmth, and unwavering support, she creates a safe place for Diane to finally let her guard down, making this heartfelt reunion one of the week's most emotional moments. At the same time, another branch of the Abbott family continues struggling with its own emotional burdens. Abby Winters visits Jack Abbott while he remains hospitalized, hoping to offer comfort despite carrying worries of her own. During their heartfelt conversation, Abby hints that Devin Winters has been going through an incredibly difficult period, and her concern for him is impossible to hide. Though she tries to remain composed, it becomes increasingly clear that watching Devin suffer has taken an emotional toll on her as well. She wishes she could somehow ease his pain, yet feels helpless as events continue slipping beyond her control. Jack listens carefully, understanding that even as he fights through his own recovery, the people he loves are facing battles of their own. The conversation becomes another reminder that healing is rarely limited to physical injuries, as emotional scars continue affecting every member of the family. Across town, tensions begin rising once again inside the Newman family as Victor Newman finds himself in direct conflict with Nikki Newman. Victor views recent events as a profound betrayal, and his disappointment quickly erupts into another painful confrontation between husband and wife. Nikki refuses to simply accept Victor's version of events, especially after everything surrounding Patty Williams and the attack on Jack Abbott. She may ultimately hold Victor partially responsible, believing that his decision to push Patty back toward Jack helped create the dangerous chain of events that followed. Victor, however, interprets Nikki's criticism as yet another example of her choosing Jack's side over his, leaving him feeling frustrated and misunderstood. Nikki refuses to back down, insisting that Jack deserves compassion because he became the victim of a violent attack. Although their disagreement threatens to reopen old wounds in their marriage, it ultimately becomes another difficult conversation that forces both of them to confront uncomfortable truths. Despite the painful disagreement, hope slowly begins finding its way back into Victor and Nikki's relationship. Nikki eventually visits Jack in the hospital, offering him support while acknowledging everything he has endured. Although Victor initially struggles with that decision, the distance growing between him and Nikki does not last forever. As the days pass, the couple gradually finds common ground once again, choosing to focus on a fresh beginning rather than remaining trapped by resentment. Together, they make a conscious effort to move beyond their recent conflict and repair the fractures that have developed between them. Yet even as they work toward healing their marriage, Nikki cannot fully quiet the fear weighing heavily on her heart. Her greatest concern remains Nick Newman and his ongoing battle with drug addiction. The possibility of another relapse continues haunting her thoughts, leaving her terrified that one devastating mistake could undo all of the progress he has fought so hard to achieve. While Victoria Newman and Claire Newman share a quiet, reflective moment honoring the memory of Cole Howard, another dramatic encounter unfolds elsewhere in Genoa City. Kyle Abbott pays an unexpected visit to Patty Williams inside her jail cell, bringing with him questions that could have enormous consequences. Determined to expose the truth, Kyle attempts to convince Patty to betray her former ally by revealing Victor Newman's alleged kidnapping plot and the shocking events involving the yacht. He hopes that if Patty cooperates with authorities, the carefully hidden scheme could finally come crashing into the light. Yet persuading Patty is anything but simple. Her unpredictable nature and complicated loyalties make every conversation unpredictable, forcing Kyle to carefully navigate a dangerous emotional minefield. Even if he approaches her from another angle, earning Patty's cooperation may prove to be one of his greatest challenges yet, leaving the outcome hanging in suspense. Elsewhere, the Shadow Room once again becomes the setting for growing conflict as Matt Clark's presence immediately reignites old tensions. Noah Newman finds himself increasingly agitated whenever Matt is around, and the uncomfortable atmosphere quickly begins affecting everyone nearby. The strain is especially noticeable between Noah and Sienna Bacall, whose differing perspectives threaten to drive them further apart. Rather than viewing Matt as an outright enemy, Sienna begins showing unexpected sympathy toward him, believing his situation may be more complicated than Noah wants to admit. Her willingness to see another side of the story creates fresh disagreements between the couple, leading to emotionally charged exchanges that expose deeper cracks in their relationship. What starts as a disagreement over one man soon grows into something much larger, raising questions about trust, understanding, and whether Noah and Sienna can overcome the growing divide between them. Meanwhile, concern continues spreading throughout Devin Winter's loved ones as those closest to him recognize the emotional weight he has been carrying. Lily Winters and Nate Hastings both become increasingly worried about Devin's well-being, sensing that he is struggling more than he is willing to admit. Joining Abby in their concern, they wish there were some meaningful way to help ease the burden resting on his shoulders. Their conversations reflect genuine love and helplessness as they watch someone they care deeply about wrestle with problems that no simple solution can fix. Every passing day increases their fear that Devin is drifting further into emotional isolation. Though each of them desperately wants to reach him, they know that true healing must ultimately come from Devin himself. Until then, they can only stand beside him, hoping their support will eventually make a difference. As the story moves into the week of July 20th through July 24th, Devin's emotional journey may become even more complicated. The possibility of Mariah Copeland's release from the psychiatric facility begins looming larger with each passing day, creating another source of anxiety that Devin may not be prepared to face. Whether he learns in advance that her release is imminent or is completely blindsided by unexpectedly seeing her walking free, the emotional impact promises to be significant. Mariah's freedom is no longer a distant possibility. It is quickly becoming reality. Once she leaves the facility, she will once again have to confront Devin's lingering anger and all of the unresolved emotions standing between them. Their reunion is unlikely to be peaceful as painful memories continue casting long shadows over both of their lives. The road ahead promises difficult conversations, emotional confrontations, and the possibility that old wounds may be reopened before true healing can ever begin. At the same time, Nate Hastings quietly begins considering a future he once believed had been taken away forever. Inspired by the recommendation of Dr. Stephanie Simmons, he reaches out to an orthopedic surgeon in hopes of learning whether repairing his injured hand enough to perform surgery again is truly possible. The decision represents far more than a medical consultation. It symbolizes hope, redemption, and the chance to reclaim a part of his identity that has been missing for far too long. Although uncertainty still surrounds the outcome, Nate cannot ignore the possibility that his career might not be over after all. Even the smallest chance of returning to the operating room gives him renewed determination, reminding him that some dreams are worth fighting for, no matter how impossible they once seemed. Meanwhile, another emotional turning point arrives for Nikki Newman as the bandages covering her eyes are finally removed. The moment is filled with anticipation, hope, and overwhelming uncertainty as everyone waits to see whether her vision has returned. If the results are not immediate, disappointment threatens to wash over Nikki, leaving her fearful that the future she imagined may never become reality. Yet she does not face that heartbreaking possibility alone. Surrounded by the unwavering love of her family, Nikki receives reassurance that recovery may still take time and that hope has not disappeared. Victor remains by her side as they continue repairing both their marriage and their faith in one another, while Nick struggles with his own emotional battles. Concern for his mother's condition weighs heavily on him, making it even harder to resist the dangerous temptations of addiction that continue lurking just beneath the surface. As one family fights to heal together, another test of strength begins, proving that every victory in Genoa City is often followed by another difficult challenge waiting just around the corner. By the end of these unforgettable 2 weeks, The Young and the Restless delivers exactly what viewers have come to expect: an emotional blend of triumphs and heartbreaks, hopeful beginnings and painful setbacks, unexpected alliances, and dangerous conflicts. Families will continue fighting to protect one another, even as secrets threaten to pull them apart. Love will be tested, forgiveness will remain difficult to earn, and revenge will continue tempting those who have been deeply hurt. Every storyline moves forward with powerful emotional momentum, leaving characters standing on the edge of life-changing decisions that could reshape their futures forever. As hidden truths inch closer to the surface and difficult choices become unavoidable, the drama only grows more intense. One thing is certain: Genoa City is heading into another unforgettable chapter filled with shocking revelations, emotional confrontations, and countless unexpected twists that will keep viewers captivated until the very last moment.